Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Darnock with MLG today, bringing you a Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 cast. This is from the previous MLG tournament, MLG Orlando, was it? I already forgot what it was, where it was. I'm pretty sure it was Orlando, so that's what we're gonna go with. Regardless, this is going to be a best of 3 series. It is from pool play. I don't precisely remember which pool. I think it was Pool A, but I could easily be wrong. And we have not one, but 2 crowd favorites here today. So let's introduce the Terran player first, just because that's what I decided to do. So on Shadow Temple, over in the east spawn position, we have the blue Terran player, Liquid TLO. Pretty much everybody's favorite Terran. He is such a fun guy to watch. He is super nice, and then he has the most creative, crazy play out of any Terran out there. Well, maybe Slayer's Dragon gives him a run for his money, but he and Slayer's Dragon, certainly the 2 craziest Terrans in the entire world. His opponent is going to be none other than EG Idra, and everybody has an opinion on EG Idra. Basically, you either love him with all of your heart, or you hate him with the deep, fiery passion of your soul. It's one or the other. He has definitely made a name for himself in StarCraft 2 through his incredible play and his incredible bad manner and nerd rages. He is very well known for that, and already we see TLO doing things a little bit differently. He already has built his starting supply depot on the low ground here, and he's throwing down a barracks as well, so it looks as if he's going to be going for some sort of wall-off strategy, which he will be able to expand behind. Pretty cool build for him. Now, as far as who I think is going to win, I do think that EG Idra does certainly have the edge in this matchup. Idra has always been good, used to play in Code S at the GSL, recently decided to move back to the States. I say recently, it's actually been like 5 months. I'm not sure why I went with that word, but regardless, he has been back in America for a while, and for a large chunk of that time, for 3 or 4 months, he really wasn't playing as well as we knew he could, as he used to. He nerd raged a lot, quit out of games that he had won, and really just wasn't as impressive as he used to be. But over the past couple months, he has definitely returned to form, and he is once again a powerhouse and a scary player to be contended with. Now, TLO, on the other hand, hasn't really had too many strong tournament results. In fact, I don't think he's had really any strong tournament results over the past year. However, he's always in MLG, he's always in the top 16, and he definitely has the ability to take games off the other pro players. However, he does struggle with winning entire series. He does have carpal tunnel in both wrists, which really does suck, and certainly does impair his ability to be able to practice as much as a professional StarCraft 2 player really does need to. However, if there's one edge TLO does have, it's that Idra gets very, very scary when you allow him to play the game he wants. If you play Standard and allow Idra to play Standard, he will crush you 99 times out of 100. However, if you turn the tables on Idra, if you rush him, if you cheese him, if you play more unorthodoxly, Idra does struggle with that type of play, and that is the exact type of play that TLO does excel at. So if TLO wants to win this series, he's going to have to play non-standardly. He's going to have to be crazy insane, and that might secure him victory, but either way, it's going to be a very, very tough match for him, as Idra is just such a scary player. Idra's starting to poke forward with a couple Zerglings, obviously not going to try and do any real damage there. Just wants to see what's going on over here at your natural TLO. So he does see that that wall off is almost in full effect, just needs one more building here to completely close that gap. Now Idra did go for a hatch first build, then followed it up with that spawning pool and the extractor. Very, very standard play, even throwing down that spine collar. So Idra opening the way he opens every single ZVT, just wants to get that nice macro advantage. However, the ball is certainly in his court, as TLO is taking a rather fast natural expansion. Idra's going to know about this. He hasn't even seen the command center. Okay, I wasn't sure if he had actually physically spotted that yet, but he has seen the command center, so he's going to know he's going to be on 2 base versus 2 base, and it's going to be up to him to try and even that economic lead up, because of course 2 base versus 2 base, the Terran player is going to be feeling pretty good, as he does have those mules as well as the normal workers. Now there is a Hellion over here in Idra's base. TLO has been able to kill 6 Zerglings so far. I actually don't think any of those kills are drones, and that Hellion needs to scoot out of there, and the Queen is just barely going to be too slow. Unfortunately for TLO, that Hellion is trapped up in the main though, as there is a spine crawler here just waiting at the bottom of that ramp. He wants the Hellion to try to run away because he is ready and waiting. But TLO continuing to keep this Hellion alive. Very, very good indeed. It does look as if it's going to go down here pretty quickly, but actually Idra has delayed speed by quite a bit, and one Zergling finally does make contact. It is able to take that Hellion out, but as I was saying, Idra has delayed speed for quite a bit. Only just now is it halfway done, and we're already 7 minutes into this game, so pretty slow speed upgrade there for Idra. However, as a result, he's going to be feeling pretty good on drones. Just look at that, 42 drones to 29 SCVs of TLO, so that's clearly where Idra has been spending his time and money. However, he doesn't have a very large army, he doesn't have great defenses, and there are 3 Hellions coming in right now. However, Idra has seen this, he's responding perfectly, bringing a lot of units up to the high ground, so if those Hellions try to go up the ramp, he'll be able to catch them in this area and keep them from getting to his weak drones. Walling off the natural as well a little bit with this evolution chamber and the queen, so the Hellions are not going to be able to fit through up there. Basically just making those Hellions' lives as terrible as he can. However, as I was saying, Idra 2 base versus 2 base right now, so he is going to try and make something happen. He absolutely needs to. He can't just let TLO sit back on 2 bases and macro either. Idra's going to have to take a third here pretty quickly, or he's going to have to go for some sort of aggression. And it looks as if Idra's just going to be playing his standard style, which is going to deal pretty well with what TLO is doing. He has a bunch of Lings out. He has a Baneling Nest about halfway done, but TLO pushing out with a lot of Marines and a couple of Marauders. Those Marauders are going to be very, very good against any Spine Crawlers or Queens that end up getting attached to the defense force for Idra. So unless Idra starts building some more Zerglings, he could be in a little bit of trouble. And he has identified the threat. He has 18 Zerglings on the way. His Baneling Nest is about to finish. Is he going to be able to get Banelings morphed in time, though, as TLO is knocking on Idra's door? And we do see some Banelings getting morphed in, 3 on the low ground, 3 on the high ground. TLO trying to elevator some units up into the main base of Idra, but just look at this creep spread. Idra saw this coming a mile away. He spread his creep over to the cliff and even down the cliff. So he knows exactly what TLO wanted to do. TLO is going to see that. He does realize that, you know what, there's creep there. That means Idra can see me, and he's going to have to at least back off with this timing attack, and it looks as if he might be going home entirely, which really isn't good for TLO. TLO really wanted to hit with that timing attack and do some decent damage, and he actually wasn't able to deal any direct damage at all. Really, all he was able to do was force Idra to produce a bunch of Lings that he really didn't want to. But if we go take a look at the economy tab, once again, 56 drones to 41 SCVs, and Idra is now going to be breaking down these rocks. And as soon as he does that, he's going to build his 4th hatchery, his 3rd expansion. He already does have a 3rd hatchery going down here, a nice little macro hatchery, going to allow for some extra production. And Idra is being allowed to play the game he wants to play, and that is exactly what he loves. He does have a spire up somewhere. Where is that spire? Oh, here it is. It's hiding by the natural. He does have that spire up, researching the +1 air attack upgrade. Right now, he has 8 Mutalisks about to pop. They are freshly ripened, and as soon as they get on the field and start doing some damage to TLO, things aren't going to be looking so good for our Terran player. Now, he does have an army on the field. He has a tech lab on this factory, so he does have a Thor in production. It is a far way out, though. Now, Thor is not going to be here for quite a while. I don't believe there are any Thors out on the field already. There are certainly not. So these Mutalisks do have a window where they could deal a lot of damage. Idra waiting for the rest of his Mutas to get over here. Doesn't want to go in piecemeal. Wants to keep them all together as a one cohesive unit. And he does start shooting away at that factory right now. Now moving over to the starport. There are some Marines in position. They do stem. Idra going to back off, content with the free damage he was able to deal. And he's just gonna chill with those Mutas for the time being. He's gonna take his 3rd. He's gonna build some more drones, build some more Mutas, and then go back in a little bit. And like I was saying, TLO can't allow Idra to play the standard macro game, but that's exactly what he's doing. And like I said, so many times when we see Idra play that standard macro game, Idra is going to win. Once more, he is pushing in with these Mutalisks. The Thor has arrived, though. One big volley going off right there, taking a lot of his Mutas into the yellow, into the orange. Really not something Idra wanted. He's going to check out this wall, see exactly what is your unit composition, what structures do you have over here, and he's not going to try to engage that with his Mutas. No, sir, that would certainly be a bad idea. And he's going to take his gold as well, so he's going to be going up to 4 bases very, very quickly against TLO's 2. Things not looking so good for our German Terran player right now. He either has to take a 3rd, at least a 3rd, maybe even a 4th, or he has to do some big damage. Otherwise, Idra's just going to get more and more ahead. going in once again with these Mutos. He's going to magic box this Thor. Yes, there it is. That Thor really not going to deal enough damage. Thor does go down. SCVs get pulled off the line. However, they are not able to get there in time, and the Thor does explode to those Mutalisks, and then Idra once again is going to back off. And that's one of the things that's really great about Idra, is he has pretty good Muto control. If he is keeping an eye on those Mutos, he will never lose a single one more than necessary. The only time you really see Idra lose Mutalisks is when he just forgets about them and flies them over a bunch of Marines, and they all die horrible, painful deaths and rain blood and entrails from the sky. But except for those moments, Idra does not use Mutos unneedingly. TLO, though, is getting ready to be aggressive, and this is really going to be his last good time to get aggressive in this game. He needs to do some big damage with this push, otherwise he's going to be so far behind, he's really not going to be able to come back. Now, he does have a pretty strong army here. He does have quite a few siege tanks, a total of 6. They do have +1 attack, which is obviously a very strong upgrade. He has a couple of Thors as well, going to be able to deal with the Mutas rather nicely. And then he has these Marines, Marauders. They have Stim, which is good. Combat shields. No upgrades for them, though, which is too bad. But they do have medevac support as well, so they're going to be very, very resilient. Good Muto control once again by Idra, trying to pick off at the edges of this Terran army. He just wants to delay this push as long as possible. You see his +2 attack, +1 armor is just about to finish. He really wants that to finish before he has to engage, and things looking pretty bad for TLO right now. Idra almost maxed. TLO at 160 supply, but he's deciding now's the time to start pushing forward. He's getting onto that creep, sniping off those creep tumors, and he does get his first view of the Zerg army, and now is going to cue Idra to charge forward into glorious battle. We see the Lings and the Banelings streaming forth. The Banelings getting sniped out for the most part before they're able to deal too much damage. Still a large pack of Marines over here, and there are the big Baneling hits. And now Idra going to charge forward with the rest of his army, and TLO completely wiped off of the map. He is forced to GG out, and that is going to result in a relatively quick Game 1 of this best of 3 series.